Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'll be doing the next part for what if Chi-Chi became a Saiyan. Now, I just want to say before I get too far into this, I want to thank Honesty on Twitter. I'll have a link and everything in the description for the art submitted, with the art for Chi-Chi I've got in this video. I really do appreciate it. He's a really cool guy. I like his art. Please go check him out and let's jump straight into it. Now, we jump in, joining our heroes not long after meeting future Chi-Chi, with the likes of Vegeta giving everyone a little bit more information on the Super Saiyan state before getting annoyed that the woman from the future, who is a fake Saiyan, managed to achieve the Super Saiyan form before himself, with him having thought he became the Super Saiyan after defeating Frieza, but clearly he hasn't. And after a small talk, he heads off to the gravity chamber to get some more training in, with the Earthlings also heading off to get some training in, getting ready for the androids, and the Sun family, like normal, head off as well. I will only really cover the training that the Sun family go through, as I imagine everyone else would pretty much have the same training as they did in canon. So let's jump over with the Sun family. The training is much more intense than in canon, with the likes of Goku, Gohan, and Chi-Chi all trying to achieve the Super Saiyan form, from which future Chi-Chi showed off. With them struggling for a while, and for months they just didn't show any signs of getting close, with the closest person being Goku. However, at some point, the family do manage to achieve the form, with the person activating this form being Chi-Chi. At some point, Piccolo and Gohan were training a bit too intensely, with Gohan getting quite hurt from an attack Piccolo threw at him. And following this, Piccolo makes a bit of a remark which sort of seems like an insult from the outside view, before helping Gohan up. But over with Chi-Chi, who was watching this while she was sparring with her husband, it didn't come off quite as playful. Chi-Chi, after seeing Piccolo put Gohan to the ground, has an image of her son dying like she was told by her future counterpart, and something snaps in Chi-Chi. In a second, the ground is shaking, her aura is beginning to become quite erratic, and her hair is beginning to spike upwards, with her becoming a Super Saiyan. And for a brief moment, she charges Piccolo and knocks him down to the ground. But she then realizes what happened and sees that Gohan was laughing and sort of saw how Piccolo helped him up. With Goku, who she was sparring with, looking over in shock at the power of his wife, and may I just say right now Goku is super attracted to Chi-Chi, he points out how Chi-Chi must have managed to achieve the form. With Gohan and Piccolo being shocked at this themselves, and Piccolo beginning to rub the place where Chi-Chi hit him, Chi-Chi almost immediately helps Piccolo up and apologises profoundly to the sort of new addition to the family, with this being a very good moment for the family. After all, now they have someone who can give them a bit more of an idea on how it works. And after this milestone and some teaching from Chi-Chi, both Goku and Gohan achieved the form, leading to the Saiyans outpacing Piccolo quite heavily. However, Piccolo's training does become more intense when his sort of adopted family stops to rest and eat. He continues to train harder, with him using his own clones to do so. And luckily, he does manage to keep up with the Saiyans only mildly, but he's probably a lot stronger than his canon counterpart. So now, like I said, for most people, their training will be going normal, with this applying to Vegeta, who does manage to achieve the Super Saiyan form during this time. Much like the Sun family, however, the Prince is unaware of the fact that all of the Sun family can do this, and he believes he was the first one to activate the form, whereas in reality he was the last one of the group to unlock the Super Saiyan form. Now, I'm going to cover the attack on the androids, but I want to cover some power levels first, just so everyone knows where everyone is racking up. So we'll start off with Goku, who has a power level of 400 mil in his base state, and 20 mil in his Super Saiyan state. Following up above him is actually Chi-Chi, with a power level of 430 mil in her base state, and 21.5 mil in Super Saiyan. Gohan falls just underneath her with a power level of 420 mil. Nice. And in his Super Saiyan state, he goes up to 21 mil. Now, following up, we have Piccolo with a power level of 500 mil. We have Krillin with a power level of 80 mil. We have Tien with a power level of 90 mil, and Yamcha with a power level of 50 mil. Finally, we have Vegeta, who is the weakest of all the Saiyans, with a power level of 350 mil. and in his Super Saiyan he goes up to 17.5 bill. Now, with this stuff out of the way, let's jump into the next part of the story. With the beginning of the Android saga pretty much lining up perfectly with canon, with the likes of Goku and Android 19 facing off. With things here going a lot better for Goku, to start off with, Goku is a significant amount stronger than his canon counterpart, and following this, Goku is also not feeling the effects of the heart virus, thanks to the fact Chi-Chi was always training with him, and Chi-Chi loves her husband very dearly. She always made sure he was taking his medicine, with Goku obviously doing this so he can have a proper fight, and this has led to Goku having the heart virus not appear, leading to him being fighting fit, and after a brief brawl, Goku finally destroys the androids. With me not really covering it too much, the androids are a significant amount stronger here. Nothing major, but I'll give you an idea. So Android 19, it has a power level of 5.85 bill even, and Dr. Gero is at a power level of 6.5 bill. I only gave them minor increases, and I'll explain this briefly why. For most of my what ifs, the way I do the android's strength is I take Goku's canon self from the Saiyan saga and I divide it by whatever his power level was in this what if. For this one, his power level was 10,500. So 10,500 divided by 8,000, it came up with 1.5 or 1.3, don't remember off the top of my head. And that's how I do it for most of my what ifs. So it just helps me figure out what I should give the androids as an increase, leading to the androids here only being a little bit stronger than, their canon counterparts. Now, with the defeat of 19 being done so fast, Goku soon turns his attention to Dr. Gero. With the Doctor not wanting to fight right now, he tries to escape. After all, he's quite scared. After all, this is the person who destroyed his entire, army. Well, it wasn't his, but, the entire group he was with, and also just defeated a machine he spent years working on. But he is stopped soon by the likes of Chi-Chi, who turns Super Saiyan herself and begins to knock around the old man before destroying him, just to make sure that in this timeline her son is never murdered and that she will lead a good life with her family. And this battle is won before the likes of Vegeta even ever turns up. After all, he's still training off in space like he was, and after this battle's done, everyone decides to head back to Capsule Corp to tell people the good news, with Goku, Chi-Chi and Gohan going there mostly to pick up Goten, because whenever they have to fight or they have to do some things that Goten is too young to be a part of, they most of the time just leave him with their, sort of best friend Bulma. With the group running into Vegeta along the way, who gets everything explained, and he's really annoyed to hear that he didn't get shot, the fact he's the Super Saiyan, the legend, but isn't too surprised that the Sun family can turn Super Saiyan. Asking a little bit about it, he soon finds out that he was actually the last one to awaken the state. Alongside this, he finds out from sensing their energies a little bit that he is the weakest Saiyan alive right now. And this is just sort of annoying Vegeta, and he immediately wants to go off back to training in space, in the gravity chamber. And he can tell that the difference between the likes of him and Goku, the weakest of the Sun family at this point in time, is still quite big. Now, after arriving at Capsule Corp, they begin to celebrate their victory, with Chi-Chi going over to check on her youngest son, Goten, who had been left to play with Trunks. With the two boys getting on really well here, they are around the same age, with there only been a few months between them. And alongside this, Goten is a little bit more bashful and playful. He's a full Saiyan after all, and Trunks is just pretty much like normal Trunks. With the celebration going on for a while, and the Sun family thinking about leaving soon to get off to get some more training done, and just for an idea, every time I say the Sun family, I am including Piccolo, unless of course I am talking about the Saiyans specifically, just because Piccolo has sort of been adopted into this family in some way. But for now, when I say the Sun family, most of the time I include Piccolo, unless of course I'm talking about Saiyans. Now, after a while, not long before they leave, 3 people show up at the scene, with this being future Chi-Chi, future Goten and future Trunks, with the likes of Goten and Trunks being stunned at the sight of their fathers, with Trunks and Goten actually a little nervous to meet them. They stick behind Chi-Chi, who gets filled in on everything that happens during the fight, with the time travelers happy to hear that the battle went well, with them actually getting destroyed very easily, with them also a little upset that they won't be able to find a way to defeat the androids in their timeline. After all, around this time they have learnt about multiverse theory, with future Chi-Chi and future Goten even thinking how Gohan did have a theory that that might be the case, but never really minded as long as he got to save one timeline from the androids. And the time travelers aren't really sure what to do right now. They're actually thinking of just leaving and just trying to wing it out on their timeline. However, they're soon invited to stay and celebrate for a little bit. With them wanting to do this, just have a break from their terrible life. And it's future Chi-Chi's way to make sure that her son and Trunks get to know their fathers a little bit at least. And that's what happens. They celebrate, they have a good time with the time travelers getting to know their fathers and just having a bit of fun with their family. With Bulma actually really liking the fact she got to meet her future son, and she's proud of the man he became. With present Chi-Chi and present Goku also happy to see how Goten turned out. Now, once the conversation of how they will defeat the androids comes around, the time travelers don't really know what to say. But it's soon offered to them that they can stay in the past to get strong enough to defeat their androids and then go back to their time. After all, it's a time machine, they can just go back to the moment they left. With them thinking about this and agreeing, they stay at Capsule Corp for the next 3 days. Every day they head off towards the Sun family house to train. With Trunks being upset that he can't train with his father, who, after having a small bit of food at the party, headed off into space to get some training in on the gravity ship. But he is happy he gets to spend more time with his friends and Gohan, the person who sort of took on a father figure for him. With this only happening for the likes of 3 days, and until they sense a weird energy one morning, it just appears out of nowhere, and this energy feels weirdly familiar, like every fighter is in one location at once. They all head towards it, with them actually dropping off the baby Goten on the way. Now, as they get a bit closer, the power starts to move a bit faster. With them not really being able to make out what it is, they start to chase up after it, and after a few minutes of playing cat and mouse, they arrive at a lab in the side of a mountain. They see a door busted down, and they look in a bit closer, and they see a weird creature hanging over a pod. With the creature then opening another pod, before turning around and noticing the group is there staring at him, he introduces himself, explaining how, "Oh, hello, I didn't see you. I'm Cell, the perfect life form, and you've just caught me becoming the true perfection that I was supposed to be." With him having just absorbed 17, he's actually in his semi-perfect form. He gives a brief explanation about himself and where he's from, before Android 18 comes stumbling out of her pod. Having heard what Cell just said about wanting to absorb her, she comes out in a fighting stance. She also sort of heard what happened to her brother. Even though she was in hibernation, I could imagine that after Cell opened it, she probably caught the tail end of a conversation. With her getting ready to fight the bug, even though he far outclasses her. But luckily for her, there might be a bit of hope here for her. The time travelers see the android come out of the pod. All of them are shocked, thinking that these two were destroyed, and they know that this Cell monster is trying to absorb these androids now, and from what they can tell, it isn't the nicest thing. So all of a sudden, the 3 time travelers jump up to Super Saiyan with no warning and shocking everyone around them. Even Cell is sort of caught by surprise. Before the 3 begin to barrage inside the lab with as much ki blast as they can produce, with the lab being destroyed, even the underground, and this makes a massive smokescreen, and the mountain begins to collapse. During this whole kerfuffle, Cell loses sight of the android, and Android 18 thankfully makes a runner for it. After all, her energy can't be sensed, so with the smoke there, it was clear that she had an opening to get away, and she did. With the smoke now clearing, Semi-Perfect Cell looks around for the android, but is unable to find her. With this enraging him, he looks towards the Z-Fighters, especially towards the Time Travelers, saying how he's killed them once, he will do it again. He goes straight towards the group, with the likes of Goku, Present Chi-Chi and Gohan having to jump up to Super Saiyan to try and help their time-travelling friends. However, Even though there is 6 Super Saiyans right now, and there is the backup of the Earthlings and Piccolo, this fight is just very one-sided. The Bug has the advantage completely, and he's just seriously beating into the group. After a small fight, everyone is on the ground very much beaten up and needing to escape. However, it's clear Cell wants to kill the time travelers, getting a bit, nostalgic. After all, he's killed them once. This is kind of funny. But before he can get close to them, everyone feels an energy flare up, and a shout of Ki Koho is soon followed by this. This knocks Semi-Perfect Cell into the ground, with everyone looking up to see Tien, a very heavily injured version of Tien, keep in mind, beginning to blast away at the Bug with his strongest attack, trying to pin him, just hold him briefly. With him looking towards his friends, he shouts out for them to get out of here. He will have him pinned for a little while. With everyone at first very hesitant and wanting to stay and help him, but soon, when Tien shouts out that he can only hold him for so long before he begins to escape, with Tien releasing more energy and powering up as much as he can to hold Cell in place, everyone starts to fly off. With him holding Cell down for a good few minutes, giving the rest of the team and 18 enough time to get very far away, before he eventually runs out of energy. With this being done, Cell climbs out of the hole Tien created. With Tien very drained, he has no energy left to fight Cell, and he's hardly clinging to life as it is. Cell sees this, and puts the warrior out of his misery, absorbing the rest of Tien's energy and killing the warrior. With everyone now being a few miles away after the battle, and having their power very much suppressed, they sense what happened to Tien, and everyone is upset and enraged by the death of their friend. With Goku feeling the worst, after all, the androids are only here as he didn't destroy the Red Robin army years ago properly. With him feeling very responsible right now, he pretty much comes to the same conclusion like he did in canon. They need to get stronger to defeat Cell. With everyone looking towards him for a plan, he comes up with the same idea as in canon. This being to use the time chamber, and everyone does agree to this, heading up to the lookout. With this trip being done in a sad silence and also very slowly as to not alert Cell of their location. Once arriving, Kami already knows what Goku is here for, with him allowing Goku to enter into the time chamber. And before Goku enters, he turns towards the likes of Piccolo, Krillin and Yamcha, asking them if it would be possible for them to go start collecting the Dragon Balls. Once this battle's over, they want to revive Tien as fast as possible. Kami had initially wanted to fuse with Piccolo to even out the odds between the androids and the warriors. However, they need the Dragon Balls to bring back Tien right now, so it's best that they don't for the moment. With these three warriors agreeing to do so, they head off. Now, I do want to just say, I didn't know who at first I wanted to go in with one another. I was originally just trying to put 2 people in together, but I came up with a fun roster and I'm going to do it. And it's probably the most obvious one, but this is what I came up with and I kind of like it. Now, the lineup will be the present Sun family heading into the time chamber first. This being all 3 of them, keep in mind. With this being Gohan, Chi-Chi and Goku. Following them, the time travelers will also be heading in. With both parties being okay with this, however, Goten is upset he didn't get to spend more time with his father, and Chi-Chi is upset that she didn't get time to spend with her husband. I don't really know how this time travel thing works when it comes to marriage, so we'll just say husband. And like that, the 3 present Sun family members head in to start their training, with Goku having the same idea as in canon to master the Super Saiyan form. With both Chi-Chi and Gohan already knowing this, they get to training right away. With the likes of Goten, like I said, still being with Bulma. Now, let's cut forward a few hours outside of the time chamber, and then we'll jump straight back into the time chamber. The 3 have managed to achieve the Great Four state of the Super Saiyan form, and allowed this training to grow stronger, just to confirm the victory. With them having already been in there for 7 months, thinking they'll only stay for just 1 more. Just a disclaimer, I don't know how long food would last for 3 people in the time chamber. I'm not very strong at maths. People should know this by now. You watch my channel for a while, and I mess up numbers, I mess up maths. It's just something I do. But I just don't know the maths I need to do for this. So I'm just going to say that the max they can probably do is about 8 to 9 months. And if someone wants to share with me the math or the number of months they can spend in there when there's three of them, I'd really appreciate it, but I won't be changing this for now. Now, after 8 months, the three do leave. A few hours after they entered, with all three coming out as Super Saiyans, Goku comes out with a base power level of 15 bil. In his Super Saiyan state, that's 750 bil. Chi-Chi is practically the same, with her and her husband being very much equal. Goku was very heavily motivated to train, and he managed to catch up with his wife. The only reason Chi-Chi was ahead in the first place was because she gave birth and got a Zenkai from it, so it put her quite a bit ahead. And in the lead is Gohan, with a power level of 16.4 bil in base and 820 bil in Super Saiyan. Ready to go destroy Cell, the likes of Goku gives the time travelers a rundown of how the grade 4 state works and how to achieve it, before heading off to, kill Cell. The three time travelers do enter the time chamber, and the Sun family head off looking for Cell. Or Android 18, who they can kill to stop Cell. Now, the likes of Yamcha, Kulin, and Piccolo had collected most of the Dragon Balls and are just waiting for the murder of Cell to happen so they can bring back their friends. With the three Saiyans keeping an eye on their close friends, making sure that nothing happens to them by keeping a good track of their energy. With the search going on for an hour or so before finally something happens, Cell has finally found Android 18. She had been eluding him for hours, and finally she slipped up and gave away her location. And once this happens, Cell jumps at the opportunity. He powers up. He needs to make sure he gets this as fast as possible. 18 luckily does buy herself a few vital seconds, just being very hard to get, very annoying to get near. She plays very defensively. And luckily for her, this is enough time for the Sun family to show up. At first, Cell is annoyed, but he realises that this is just a free meal for him at this point, and isn't too bothered by the sight of these guys. He's just going to turn around, kill Chi-Chi and Gohan, and then he'll absorb 18 and have a true fight with Goku. But that's not what's happening here. He gets ready to fight the two Saiyans, hoping that Chi-Chi and Gohan will show up, to be the main combatants, but Goku steps out first. He's ready to fight Cell. He's ready to get his revenge for his friend. With the battle between Goku and Cell being very heavily favoured in Goku's side, Cell is surprised at Goku's confidence, and after only a few hours, he seems stronger. He was hardly able to fight Cell with the support of a much bigger group. However, now Goku is willing to fight him one-on-one. But Cell figures out why Goku is so confident. Suddenly he senses Goku's energy charge up, hit a max point. This is just to flex at the power difference. And then, suddenly, appearing in front of Cell is Goku, landing a massive punch in Cell's stomach, making the creature begin to cough and spit something up. It's strange, but 17 soon comes out of Cell's mouth, which shocks Android 18, who hasn't moved since the three Saiyans showed up. With Cell now having spat out 17, he begins to change back to his imperfect form. However, thanks to the power loss, he is now at a massive disadvantage. He initially wants to try and absorb the androids while 18 is picking up her brother, but at this point Goku just has the advantage. Goku begins to fight the bug, and he wins very easy. He's sending the bug through mountains with simple kicks, and any pressure that Cell tries to put on Goku is soon stopped. Eventually, Cell tries to appeal to Goku's Saiyan side, saying how he will give him a good fight if he lets him absorb the androids. With Goku not even thinking about it, he just says no, before blasting a hole through Cell, thinking this will end this, thinking that's everything done now. With Goku shocked to see the bug heal and start to fly away in fear. However, he's soon stopped by Goku, once again appearing in front of the bug, and he hammers the bug into the ground. Goku does come to the realization that Piccolo's genes are in Cell, so he's going to have to do something quite special to take him down. With Goku having the Cell creature on the floor, pretty much unable to do anything, Goku powers up and charges up the biggest Kamehameha he's ever produced. With Cell having no other option than to try and avoid the attack, he does so, but Goku has such control over this attack that he just chases him. And eventually, the beam hits. For a brief second, Cell looks like he's trying to stop it, but he's soon engulfed in the attack. with this destroying every part of Cell. With 18 surprised at the power Goku just showed off. Cell's done. Cell's dead. There is nothing for him to regrow from. Now, after this is done, Goku drops down to his base state, not even having really broke a sweat, and so did the other two Saiyans. With, like I said, 18 surprised at how powerful Goku is. After all, she watched a bit of the fight earlier and saw how they got beat with ease. 17 is now coming too. He begins to ask questions, and eventually the likes of Krillin, Yamcha and Piccolo show up. Seeing the androids and no Cell, with Gohan explaining how Goku defeated the monster with ease. Now, initially, Piccolo thinks it's best to destroy the androids. However, Goku is against it. They can't do anything right now. They're powerless compared to them. So they can just live. With Krillin agreeing to this because he thinks Android 18's hot. And they spare the androids, telling them to just go off, don't cause any harm, and lead your life. With Chi-Chi actually almost super against this idea, but thinks how Goku does have a point. They are really powerless. And thanks to the fact that the wish she made years ago makes her understand, pretty much function a lot like Goku, she sort of understands Goku's logic here. And the androids leave, with 18 taking a note on how, good looking Krillin is. And soon everyone heads back up to the lookout, with the time travelers coming out when it's pretty late at night. With them getting caught up with what happened, and just so you know, they do come out with the grade 4 state achieved. They are ready to head home, they're ready to defend their timeline. With everything in the Cell Saga pretty easily wrapped up, they spend a few more days there just having a peaceful few days, before heading off in their time machine, thanking the group for their help. Even though they didn't do much to help them, they gave them a chance to save their timeline. With the present team thanking them for showing up to warn them, they will now get to lead a much better life because of it. With the time travelers heading off, with Goten giving his father a hug before leaving, and Chi-Chi doesn't really want to do this. Her, the future Chi-Chi anyway, she thinks it might be a bit weird. However, her present self does give her a wave and wishes her the best of luck, which is enough for her. With this done, the time travelers head home. Trunks is upset he didn't really get to meet his father much, but he is happy that he is going to go back stronger and that he can save his timeline. Now, speaking of Vegeta, he's been gone this entire time. He's off in space training. For the most part, he might not be back for another few months, Bulma says. With this being kind of a funny note, they all just sort of ignore it. With Bulma being upset that she won't get to see her, boyfriend for a while, she just sort of, is used to it. They do make the wish to bring back Tien. They made it before the time travelers even ever left. And for the most part, this is this saga done. We have a very strong Sun family here. Kami's still around, Cell got destroyed, the androids are alive, the time travelers gone back, and I'm not going to need to cover it, they destroy their timelines androids. Everything here is tied up with a neat little bow. And I will look forward to be doing the Buu Saga next. Of course, Super. Ooh. But I do want to say thank you again to Honesty. Like I said, this art is incredible, and I can't thank him enough. I was expecting my commission to take a while to get done, and I'm so surprised at how fast he got it done for such a good quality. I really appreciate it. Like I said, there'll be a link in the description. He's saving up for a PC at the moment. If anyone wants any commissions done and you like his art, please give the guy a hand. But for the most part, I hope everyone has a good day. Have a great night. And let me know what you want to see in the next part. I love this What If, and I'm looking forward to continuing it. Have a good one, guys.